Week one college football is in the books, and my lord, what an interesting, amazing week of college football we had. Some amazing games, some struggles, some crazy endings, some upsets. I mean, you had it, guys. You had it. It was an incredible week one, and I'm really excited to start talking about it. And I appreciate everybody watching. Please subscribe to the channel. If you like what I do, hit the thumbs up and share the video. Help the message get around. I genuinely appreciate all the support. I do everything I can to make these videos good. And honestly, every bit of support I get, it just helps. It really does. Now on the SEC Football 2 recap show, we break down the games that mattered, talk a little bit of trash because that's just what we do. It's college football. And I'm just going to give my honest breakdown and takeaway from the games. And I'm speaking objectively as a college football fan. Obviously, I have a favorite team. A lot of you, if not all of you watching, do as well. But again, we are speaking objectively as just a college football fan, because at the end of the day, that's what we love the most. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it, and we're going to start with Colorado versus North Dakota State. Now, this was a very, very entertaining football game to watch. At least for me, it was. But I got a lot to say about Colorado, and it's going to hurt a lot of Colorado fans' feelings. But before I get into that, I will say this. Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. Unfreaking believable players. Travis Hunter's the best player in college football, no doubt. It is so much fun to watch these guys. It's an elite duo. An elite duo. And no matter what you say, it might be the best duo in all of college football. Jimmy Horn as well is a fun, fantastic football player to watch. But if I'm being honest with you, those three are really all Colorado have. Outside of that, the rest is really bad, guys. That offensive line is horrific. Horrific. One of the worst in college football. They're gonna get Shedeur Sanders killed. They are. The man was running for his life all night long. And it's a credit to him that he only took 1 sack in that game. It is incredible watching this guy. I mean, because whenever he drops back to pass, not even 3 seconds later, he's got men coming right at him. He has to evade pressure, run for his life, scramble around, and make a big play. Shedeur is one of the greatest quarterbacks in college football, and he's one hell of a tough football player. I mean, his offensive line does him absolutely no favors at all. None. But he still makes big plays. He still makes big plays. He still found Travis Hunter for 3 touchdowns. Travis Hunter with the unbelievable catch. I don't know how the hell he caught that football. That was like impossible. 99.9% of wide receivers in college football would not have caught that football. But he managed to do it. That was insane. The defense, atrocious. They're getting burned on every single play. Now, North Dakota State, I mean, let's be honest, guys. They're an FCS team. They're a good FCS team. The best FCS program, let's be honest. But to get pushed around by them all night long like that? That's bad for Colorado. That's bad for Colorado. And I'm going to be honest, it's going to be... I mean, you're in the Big 12 now. But it's going to be hard for me to see Colorado make a bowl game if they don't get that offensive line fixed or that defense. Because 3 people can't do everything, guys. They can't. It can't all be on the shoulders of Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. At some point, you're going to have to be a team. You're going to have to be a team. Your offensive line is going to have to block. Your defense is going to have to stop somebody. And if you don't do that, hard for me to see that you make a bowl game this year. I have a lot of respect for Deion Sanders in Colorado. But, I mean, it's outside of Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. It's just rough, man. It's just rough. No running game. Offensive line. I mean, they're not. They're not doing Shedeur Sanders any favors. The dude has to run wild all night long just to make a big play. It's sad. It's sad. And that was against an FCS team. God help you when you play somebody who actually knows what they're doing. I'm just going to be honest with you. Moving on to the next one. Woo! Boy, Clemson. Beat by 31 freaking points. 31 points. The big bad Clemson Tigers beat by 31 points. Now, to be fair, it is the Georgia Bulldogs. They're the best team in the country by far. I don't think anyone at all in their right mind is going to deny that. But, man, this was just outside of the first half. Give Clemson credit. In the first half, they held their own with Georgia. They hold their own. Defense is incredible. But they got tired in the second half. And Georgia just poured it on. This is an unfortunate reality check for Clemson. It really is. And here's the unfortunate reality for Clemson right now. Unfortunately for them, they're not elite anymore. They're not. And that's not to say that Clemson is a horrific team that's going to all of a sudden not make a bowl game. But as far as when it comes to hanging with the big boys of college football, when it comes to being up there with them, when it comes to being recognized as one of the elites, they are not there anymore. They're not there anymore. And the realistic Clemson fans, let's be honest, they have saw that for 2 years now. They have seen that since 2022. You thought maybe 2021 was just one bad year. You lost some things. You lost Trevor Lawrence. You lost Etienne. You lost all of that. But something's clearly up. When it comes to being on the same level as Georgia, you're just not there anymore. At all. Not even close. Not even close. Your defense is amazing, but your offense is bad. It's bad. Cade Klubnik. You've heard it for a couple years now, but he's just not the quarterback that's going to get you to where you want to be. He's not. Phil Moffitt is good. He's good. But he's got to have an offensive line to protect him. And Clemson's offensive line, they have some growing to do. And I do believe Matt Luke will have that turned around. But as of right now, there's still much more work to do. There's much more work to do on the offensive side of the football. When it just comes to, look, now, the good news for Clemson is this. The ACC's down something horrific this year. It's bad. Outside of Miami, it's bad. It's bad. Well, there are a couple other good teams. Louisville, I still think is a good team. Georgia Tech, we'll see what they do the rest of the season. But Florida State, absolutely terrible. We'll get to Florida State. Don't you worry. We will get to Florida State. We will. And this was a non-conference loss, so you're not out of your goals. You're not. But if you wanted to see this as a measuring stick as to where you stack up against the elites right now, this just showed Clemson and everybody else, they're just not on that level anymore. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like a lot of that is self-inflicted when it comes to Clemson's coaching staff. Really. Truly. I completely understand Dabo's stance on the transfer portal. I do. I'm not a big fan of it either. But Nick Saban wasn't either. But he still used it. There are actually a lot of coaches. Some won't tell you publicly, but there are other coaches who aren't a big fan of it either, but they still use it. You know why? That's part of the game right now. That's part of the game. How many impact players could Clemson have gotten to help them in the quarterback room and in the wide receiver room. Even a running back. How much impact players could Clemson have got to maybe help their offense over the years? Really makes you wonder, doesn't it? It makes you wonder, and it just seems like the arrogance, it's killing them. It's literally killing them, guys. You know, again, obviously, y'all know what team I pull for, but I'm speaking as an objective college football fan. Take my favorite team out of it, guys. Anyone with eyes can see this. What's happening at Clemson isn't good right now. It's not. It's not. They're afraid to use the portal. I mean, high school recruiting is great, but you got to land some big-time impact players in the portal as well, guys. You got to. But unfortunately for Clemson, that's not how it is right now. And they are quickly falling behind the elites of college football. Sad to see. Sad to see. And honestly, if you're a Clemson fan, I don't know how you accept that. How can you accept that? Seeing the same old stuff happen again and Dabo justify it in the post-game conference, saying, everything's all right. The team's fighting hard, coming after the fans. Having to watch Miami, Florida State, at least last year, in Louisville, pass you by while you're just doing the same old stuff. How can Clemson fans accept that? You gotta be kicking yourself and asking what the hell is going on. Unbelievable. Whatever. More power to them, I guess. Georgia, incredible. Still the best team in college football. Offense came alive in the second half. Still a lot of football left to be played for the Bulldogs, but right now they are the cream of the crop. Still, that's just how it is. But yeah, enough about Clemson. Moving on to the next disaster that is the Florida Gators. Man, 41-17. Absolutely destroyed by our in-state rival. Florida got absolutely destroyed, ran out of their own building, and then Billy Napier had the gall to come after his fans after that performance. I'm just going to be honest. Billy Napier's done. It's over for him in Gainesville. I don't think he's got a friend left in Gainesville. Gator Nation for sure can't be behind this guy anymore after what he has done. Losing to Miami, not only losing to Miami, but getting blown out by Miami, that's a fireable offense for the Florida Gators. That is. Billy Napier, just terrible. Just terrible. Florida's terrible too. Florida might be one of, if not the worst team in the SEC this year. Unbelievable. I mean, they are bad. They are bad. Now, shout out to Miami. Miami's a good football team. They might be the best team in the ACC. Cam Ward is incredible. And boy, this ought to make Florida fans mad too. Cam Ward talking trash about the Gators during the game and after the game. Wow. Billy Napier, man, he's done. He's done. I mean, you just got absolutely dominated. Inexcusable for the Florida Gators. Inexcusable. I mean, it is really, really, really bad for Florida right now. They might go winless. They, honest to God, guys, might go winless in in-state games. They might. They got to play UCF and they got to play Florida State. Anyone going to pick Florida to win those games? Anyone? I don't think so. Just terrible times for Florida. Terrible times for the Gators. I think the Billy Napier's tenure in Florida is about to be over. It might be over mid-season. It might be. It's done. It's done. Now, as for Miami, we've heard all the jokes over the years about Miami not being able to win the ACC. Hasn't been relevant in 20 years. You've heard all of that. Miami this year, now, of course, they got a lot more football to, start with. They started off 4-0 last year and then started losing. Lost to a terrible... Well, no, actually not terrible. Not terrible. Georgia Tech wasn't terrible. Well, they had terrible losses last year. Whatever. They lost to Georgia Tech. That game pretty much derailed their entire season, right? One of the worst coaching decisions in history. Mario Cristobal and that going, and we all know that game. Anyways, Miami still got some things to prove, but right now, they look legit. They got some dogs. They are a stacked team, and right now, I'd take them to win the ACC. I would. This might be Miami's year. Again, I urge Hurricane fans to keep a level head. I'm going to do that about Miami, but right now, if you're a Canes fan, you got to love what you're seeing. You got to love what you're seeing, and you got to feel good with the future of your season. Because that schedule, I mean, that's an easy schedule for you. You're better than almost everyone in your conference. You don't draw Clemson. I mean, if you're a Miami fan, you got to be feeling really good right now. That's all I'm going to say. But here's where I'm going to eat some crow. Miami, I give you my sincere apologies because I doubted you. I picked Florida to win this game. I was doubtful and skeptical of Miami. I was. And they went out there and they proved me wrong. And they proved a lot of people wrong. Again, more football to play. But right now, Canes, you're legit. And honestly, I looking ahead, I don't see any reason that Miami shouldn't be in the ACC championship game. Honestly. Moving on. The Battle of the Colts. Well, all right, we all know A&M's a cult. Is Notre Dame a cult? Debatable, but still. Interesting game, honestly. Boring first half, but it got real interesting in the second half, and Notre Dame, give them credit, found a way to pull off the victory. 23-13 against the Aggies in College Station. Now, neither offense was absolutely explosive at all, except for that big run Notre Dame got at the end to seal the game. Notre Dame's defense, give them credit. I mean, Notre Dame's linebackers are really, really good. I feel like Notre Dame, they got some things to work out on the offensive side of the ball. And A&M, here's the thing about Texas A&M. They're not a great team. They're not. They give Notre Dame all they could. They gave Notre Dame all they could. Although, let's be honest, Mike Elko, he's still got more things to fix in College Station. He does. But Notre Dame, a good football team, good win for them. This was an interesting game in the second half. It was a little boring in the first half, but in the second half, we started seeing things get a little bit loose, and it was an entertaining game for me. It was an entertaining game, but the Texas A&M hype, I will tell you this about Texas A&M. Mike Elko is a good coach, and he is going to fix the Aggies in due time, but got to give him some time. Like, the people who expected A&M to immediately come out of the gate and just light Notre Dame on fire early, I don't know what you're basing that off of. I really don't. I don't know what these people were basing it off of. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Now, Texas A&M, we'll see how they do the rest of the season. The quarterback play's got to be better for the Aggies. They got to be better. Offense has to be better for Texas A&M. We'll see how they do, but good win for Notre Dame. Now, this one right here. This one makes me mad, LSU. This one pisses me off. For multiple reasons. Number one, I've told the story before. Oklahoma is my second favorite team. And you went out and you freaking lost to Lincoln Riley. Unreal. Number two, probably the most unforgivable. You're in the freaking SEC. And you just lost to a Big Ten team. An SEC school losing to a Big Ten school, it's a broken law. And you just did it. LSU. Now, this game was actually really good. Give credit to Southern California. This game was really good. Good credit to LSU, too. They lost the football game, but there were a lot of things I liked about both teams. Number one, LSU and USC's defense, for the most part. Did I say LSU twice? LSU and USC's defense, for the most part, actually looked good. Now, LSU got flamed in the secondary a bit, and we'll talk about that. But it looks like a really good improvement on the defensive side for both teams. Last year, both teams were atrocious. Lincoln Riley, he's known for having atrocious defenses, right? Last year, LSU's defense was horrific. It was horrific. It looks really improved this year. And for Lincoln Riley to hold an SEC team, to hold anyone to 20 points, pretty impressive. It's Lincoln Riley defense we're talking about, guys. So, as much as I don't really like the guy, got to tip your cap. Southern Cal's quarterback. It seems like almost every year they have a very promising quarterback. Or at least Lincoln Riley. But Miller Moss, personally, I really like this guy. I really like this quarterback. I really do. And I think he's got a bright future at USC. 378 yards passing. Almost 400 yards. 1 touchdown. But man, he tore up that LSU secondary. Now, neither offense, I will say, went off, right? Neither offense went off. USC's offense didn't really go off outside of a couple of plays. Especially that, run at the end of the game to get the touchdown. It wasn't the flashy Lincoln Riley offense you expected to see, but, I guess you shouldn't expect that week 1 in a way, but honestly, I feel like Miller Moss has a bright future at Southern Cal. I really, really do. Now, LSU definitely got to fix some things in the secondary. Again, I believe their defense has improved. And we'll see about their offense, too. I cannot pronounce their quarterback's last name for the life of me. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 304 yards passing. So both teams got into 300s as far as passing yards, right? I believe LSU's offense is going to do pretty well. Now, you only scored 20 points on Lincoln Riley, but, this looks to be an improved Lincoln Riley defense, so I'll give you some slack there. And this was entertaining. This really was entertaining. I enjoyed this game. But, man, LSU, something else I want to say. LSU, 5 straight season opening losses. They have started 0-1 every year for the last 5 seasons. Hasn't changed under Brian Kelly. Outside of 2019, they have started 0-1 every year. Can't keep doing that. You can't keep doing that. Now, it won't be catastrophic now, but at some point, you got to win a season opener, man. Now, to be fair, they're not scheduling, teams like Akron or Idaho or Western Kentucky, Western Illinois, all those teams. They're not scheduling them. They're scheduling Southern Cal, Florida State twice. They're scheduling really good Power 5 opponents. And it's been really fun to watch, Week 1 LSU. But at some point, you got to think, you just got to start 1-0. At some point, you got to. But you know what? Hey, Southern Cal got the win. Congrats. Whew, Florida State. Man, y'all are down something serious, aren't you? Good gracious. 0-2. 0-2 in Week 1. As a quote-unquote top 10 team. Now, obviously, Florida State ain't anywhere near the top 10. They're not even in the top 25, but that was their ranking at the time when they played Boston College and when they played Georgia Tech. Bad news for Florida State. It's over. It's over for you guys. You're 0-2 in conference. And the bad news for you, at this point, your ACC title hopes are basically shot. You're shot. You'll be lucky to make a bowl game with the way you're playing right now. DJ Ooga Booga Booga Luga. He is bad. He's really bad. You see this guy throw the football. Overthrows receivers. Throws it to the dirt. Looks like he doesn't even know what he's doing. It's just bad. It's bad for Florida State right now. It's really, really freaking bad. He's hit some big shots, but outside of that, dude, your offense looks like absolute trash. Absolute trash. And your defense is getting thrashed too. I mean, my God. Y'all might actually make Cade Klubnik look good. And how on earth is that possible? Have you seen Cade? God, you'll make Clemson's offense look like they know what they're doing. Florida State's in trouble this year. And it is so weird to see. It's so weird to see because, we've heard for the last 9 months, Florida State is on a revenge tour, They're on a revenge tour. They're mad that they got, robbed from the playoffs, suing everybody, suing me. I mean, suing anyone that has anything to do with college football because they're mad. You've made absolute fools of yourself. You spent all offseason crying and whining and complaining, telling everyone about how you got robbed, telling everyone how good you're going to be, that you're going to light the world on fire, and now you come out and you do this. You start 0-2. And you basically just shot all your title hopes in week 2, even your playoff hopes. You look down the line for Florida State's schedule, they continue to play like this, they're not making a bowl game. Well, they might make a bowl game, but they're definitely like 7 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins. No. This is a harsh dose of reality for Florida State right now. And it's a reality that almost everyone was trying to explain to them. You were a good football team last year, no question. You were, but you lost a lot from that. And the truth is, honestly, Keon Coleman and Jordan Travis and a couple others, that's just what Florida State was last year. You had good players, and now you're right back to where you were. Right back to where you were before that. With a bad quarterback and really nothing impressive outside of that. Mike Norvell, he had a good team last year. He had a good team in 2022. That's what happens when you have only good players. When you have good players, but nothing else. Florida State's finding that out right now. 0-2 in week 1. With losses to Georgia Tech and Boston College at your place by double digits. Look down the road. Miami's going to absolutely roll you. They are going to roll you. Clemson might beat you. I don't care how bad their offense is or that it's at your place. Have you seen their defense? What do you think DJ is going to do against that Clemson defense? Good luck. Good luck. You got Memphis next? I'm going to tell you right now. That ain't no cakewalk. That's not a cakewalk. Memphis could beat the team I've been seeing the last 2 weeks. You got North Carolina. You got Notre Dame on the road? Good God, how much more wins is Florida State going to get? How much more wins are you going to get? You're looking at a 6-6 season. 6-6. Unfreaking believable. Your ACC title hopes is basically shot. Like I mentioned earlier, it's done. It would take an absolute freaking miracle for Florida State to be in that ACC championship game. Y'all are a disaster. You're awful. And your season's over in week 1. And honestly, because of everything that happened in the offseason, I don't feel a single ounce of sympathy for the people who spent all offseason crying and making fools of themselves. This is what you get. And honestly, for you people, I hope this reality tastes a little sour because there wasn't a fan base more annoying to listen to all offseason long than Florida State. And now you're getting what you deserve. But to the good Florida State fans, I feel bad for you guys. I feel bad for the good Florida State fans. But to the rest of you, eat it. But anyways, that is my week 1 recap. Thank you all so much for watching. For the Carolina fans listening who wanted me to talk about South Carolina Old Dominion in this video, don't worry. Tonight, Gamecock Talk with Gru live on this channel. We're doing a live stream. Live stream talking South Carolina football. Gonna be a fun pod for sure. Hopefully you guys tune into that one. Thank you all so much for watching. Your boy, SEC Football Tube, checking out. Go Carolina Gamecocks.